Ron Bamieh is one of the most prominent trial lawyers on the Central Coast of California. He worked as senior prosecutor in Ventura for 10 years, never having lost a felony case. In 2002, Ron opened his own firm, where he's tried some of the most high-profile criminal cases in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. Ron has represented clients in severe injury and wrongful death cases, earning millions of dollars in verdicts and settlements for his clients. Let's meet Ron Bamieh. Hello, Ron.
Hi, Tim.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Please sit down.
Sure.
So tell me, Ron, I know you've been on Dateline. I've seen you, in fact, on Dateline. I hear you're about to be on 48 Hours. How is it that you get so many cases that end up in the media?
Well, it starts off with that a lot of people in Ventura and Santa Barbara know who I am. And I have, fortunately, a decent reputation in town. And we've had some success as my firm representing people in big cases. And the thing I guess I'm most proud of is not the big cases that make TV or in the news media, but are the people that we help day in and day out with their smaller problems, with issues that may not see the limelight of the other cases, but are just as big to those people as any of the cases that you've seen on TV or read about in the paper.
Now, I know many people think you only practice criminal defense, but a large part of your practice is personal injury cases. How do those two areas of law complement each other?
Well, we have a diverse practice. There's 4 attorneys plus myself who work at my firm. And we developed over the years a personal injury practice because we found that it's tailor-made for a trial lawyer. And as I always say, that we're not a bunch of lawyers working together, we're trial lawyers. And those people who try cases know that you're able to go into a number of different areas of law and be successful. Personal injury cases, wrongful death cases, helping victims of crime get compensated for the injuries that were inflicted upon them by people who committed those crimes is a natural progression for me, both as a trial lawyer, as a prosecutor with my former career, and as a criminal defense attorney. And fortunately, we've had a great deal of success in that area.
Well, I know that has to keep things interesting, and I would think that when you're interested and engaged, that makes you a better lawyer, so it's good for your clients too. And I know you further to keep things interesting, you are an author. You authored a book called How to Hire a Lawyer. Why did you write that book?
Well, I wrote it because one day I was at the courthouse with a client, and we're just sitting there waiting, and if you've been to a courthouse, you'll see a bunch of lawyers walking around. And she looked at me and she says, you know what's weird about this is I can't tell the good lawyers from the bad lawyers. How do you know how to hire a good lawyer? So I thought about it and I thought, well, I should write something about that. And I started writing a pamphlet that became a book and that people got interested in. And I said things like, well, go out and meet some lawyers, number one. A lot of people think they have to make a quick decision on who they hire. And the reality is we often don't have to make that quick decision. A lot of people think that the first lawyer that you see on your Google search or who sends you a letter or whose advertisement you see is the right lawyer for you. And I always recommend take your time, meet at least three lawyers, interview them, look at their offices, look at their staff. Are they a professional organization? You want people representing you who first you're comfortable with, and second, who are very competent. And there's ways now to research lawyers that most people don't know about, and those are the things I talk about in the book. And hopefully we've been able to help some people find the right lawyer for their case.
So by researching on why people hire lawyers, I wonder if you've been able to cater your practice towards what you've discovered.
Well, yeah, because what you find in terms of people and what they like in lawyers and what they don't like in lawyers, the number one thing is they like is service. They want their phone calls returned. They want to be things explained to them in a way that they can understand them. They want to be treated, frankly, like human beings who would make any big decision in their life. They want full information. And so we found that when we do things like we call our clients back when they call us at the end of the day, we do things like we send them the materials involved in their case, we involve them in their case, we explain to them exactly where their case is going. And most importantly, we have this policy that everything we tell our client will be 100% honest. We don't inflate the facts, we don't deflate the facts, we don't criticize the clients. We let them know this is what you should expect, and then we give them their options. And then we let the clients make the decision that's best for them. We advise them, of course, but we always respect the client's right to make a decision about their own life, about their own case.
Now, many people in your community say you're the busiest lawyer in Ventura and Santa Barbara. How can potential clients get in touch with you? What's the best way? How do you get started with you?
Well, the best way is just to give the law firm a call. And what I caution people is this. We are busy, but we're always interested in new cases if the case is right for us and if the client's right for us. When a client comes in to interview us, make no mistake, we're interviewing the client. We're interviewing the client to see if they'd be a good fit for our law firm, because in order for a really good attorney-client relationship to exist, it has to be mutual. the attorney has to want to represent the client, and the client has to want the attorney to represent them. If it's not mutual, it just doesn't work. And we're very selective, and fortunately we can be, and we don't take every case that walks through our door. But we do take the cases we think we can make a difference in. And
well, yeah, and sorry for interrupting, but I was going to say, Ron, that's very valuable to the client too. Even if it doesn't do him any good if he's not with the right firm, or I'm guessing that you'd be generous enough to give a prospect the opinion that, you know what, you really don't have a case here, and you're in that case you'd also be saving him from chasing around some pie in the sky dream that's not going to come through. He can get on with that client can get on with his life. Do you find that to be the case?
Yes. The first analysis we do is, does this client actually need a lawyer? And would we benefit that client by being their lawyer? A lot of times in personal injury cases, people think they have cases and they think that they're valuable cases, and they may be, but they're not going to be for us. Or we don't think that the client's a good fit for our firm for a number of reasons. One could be the case isn't great, one could be the client and the lawyers were not going to get along real well, whatever the reason is. And if that's the case, then we say, hey, why don't you look at these other lawyers and talk to them, find out if they're a better fit for you. Or sometimes I tell them, really, it's not a case we can really help you with. Many times on criminal defense, there are cases that they really don't need a lawyer for, that there's not going to be a great defense, they're about to spend a lot of money for something they really shouldn't do. And we pride ourselves in letting people know, like, look, we may not be able to help you, or maybe a lawyer is not the right solution for you in this problem, but if you want to look elsewhere, here's the places to look.
Well, what a service. What a great service, Ron. I commend you for that. Your contact information is on the screen, and I really would encourage anyone to get with you who could possibly use your services. And again, for you to take that trouble to steer them toward another firm, or to say, you know what, you're wasting your time. Maybe you don't have a case. Again, I think that's a wonderful thing. Thank you, Ron. I wish you much continued success.
Appreciate it, Tim. Thank you very much for having me.